Okay, let's set up our main cloner. And the first thing I'm going to do is to make sure my display is set to quick shading lines, so we have a bit more cleaner scene. And also I'm going to go to this test lights, and let's create a new layer, and let's name the lights or lighting for main for clones. Okay, and let's just change the color here and add this light here, and let's uh, invisibility in our viewport, make it invisible, and also hide this in your manager so you just have a bit more better scene. There we go. Let's create our cylinder, which is our main cloner, our main clone to be cloned. And let's actually go ahead and hide this studio also, so we're just working on this cylinder. Go to its attributes, make sure it's set to a really low radius, something like 5 centimeters, because we are going to have a lot of those. The heights, reduce it to something like 100 centimeters, and the segments, rotation segments and height segments are good. Enable fillet, it's going to have a really small fillet. Let's go to something like 2 segments, and the amount something like 0.1 centimeter. That's going to be quite great. Okay. Now this is, let's name it our cylinder HQ, or high quality or high resolution. I'm going to control and drag and create another cylinder and name it LQ. Okay. And for this second one, or low quality or low resolution one, I'm going to turn off the fillet and go to the object rotation segments, and this is going to be our proxy clone. Basically, I'm going to show you in this lesson how to set up your proxy setup, and quickly go through and change between your high quality and low quality cylinder. Let's change the rotation segment to something like 3, which is the lowest amount. You can go down, go lower than that. There we go. We have now 2 cylinder. One of them are high quality and one of them are low quality. Okay, now it's time to set up our main clone. I'm going to select my main cylinder, MoGraph, add a cloner to your scene, and let's just put this cloner down here. Put this cylinder high quality to your clone, and as you can see, I'm going to select my clone. Change the mode from linear, as you can see it's linear, it adds to the clones. Change it to grid array. The amount in y-axis should be just 1 row. There we go. And let's go to the counts. I'm gonna have something like 115 clones in x-axis and something like 100 in y-axis, in z-axis, sorry. Now you can see our scene is getting really cluttered right now, but we have to just set up our clone like this, and we're gonna set up our proxy quite soon, so we have a bit quicker viewport. So you can see it's right now very hard to see because right now all of them are cluttered. Let's go to change the dimensions. Let's go to something like 1000 in our x dimension. Doesn't matter our y dimension at all. And for the z dimension, let's go to something like 900 and see what's going on here. I'm gonna just get closer and see if there is any overlap or gaps between those clones. As you can see, there is a bit of overlap, so let's add these to make our x dimension something like 1100. You can see there is a bit lesser overlap going on here. We have to go to something like 1040, 1140, and you can see they are touching, but there is still a little bit of overlap. Click, and I think it's a very good situation right now, but let's hold down Alt and just make them a bit more. Something like this I think is quite great. There is a bit of space between them, really small gap. And for the z dimension, so let's change this value to something like 1000. Okay, that's good, but there is a bit of uh, gap going on here. Lower the value to 950, 980, 990, and let's add a bit more. 992. There is, I really want a bit more space, so let's go higher. I don't know, something like this looks quite great. There we go. Now we have our main cloner set up, but as you can see, the viewport is so slow, and even if you have a decent machine, it's gonna really slow you down, and especially when I'm recording, so it's really impossible to work with. So what we're gonna be doing is set up a quick proxy setup. So uh, by clicking on one parameter and activating one parameter, we can change between this high quality and this low quality cylinders. So for example, this low quality cylinder sort of get cloned if I change them right now. Now you can see it's a bit better, not that great, but it's definitely much more better. And even though it's not snappy at all, our viewport, but it's definitely can be much more better. Okay, let's set up our proxy. I'm gonna get this cylinder out of my cloner, and let's add a simple instance object. I'm gonna put this. Just make sure you have nothing selected. So I'm gonna go to my go to the array tool, select your instance, and make sure you put the instance under the cloner. Okay. Now what we want to do is to set up a proxy that basically right now our instance reference object, as you can see, is empty. So we have this red cross here that tells us that. And I want to have a proxy setup that changes between this high quality or high resolution cylinder and this one, which is a low quality cylinder. So for example, if I put this low quality cylinder, it gets cloned. And if I put this high quality, it simply do that. But I just want to have a bit more automatic setup. So just by one click, it do all of that automatically. Okay. So select your cylinder, and let me just clear this field here. Let's go to our cloner setup. We're now starting our proxy setup, user data, manage user data. We're going to add one data. We're going to name this guy HQ or high quality, and control drag. This one is going to be our low quality one, and the data type we're going to be using link for both of them. So change the data type to link, and also add another data which is going to be our switch. Let's name this proxy, and the data type change it to bool or boolean, which is basically this checkbox here, and I can hit OK. Now I have a user data which has two link fields and this one checkbox. What I can do is to define put the high quality cylinder here, put the low quality cylinder to the low quality field. Now what I want to do, I want to connect these two fields here, okay, to my instance reference object. So whenever I click on this, whenever this checkbox is unchecked, it uses the first field, which is our high quality, and whenever we check on our proxy, our instance object will automatically uses our cylinder low quality. So let's set up our Espresso, right click Cinema 4D tags Espresso, and let's just get started. We have our Espresso window open. The first thing we need our user data from our cloner. So I get the cloner here, go to user data and add these three, control and double click on the cloner, and so you got the optimized version of your node here. Now the next thing we need a condition node. So go to your Espresso, a logic condition. Basically what condition node is, condition node you can define as many as input as you want, and you can then switch between those inputs by using a number here, or you can control this switch by something else, which is we're going to be using this checkbox to control this switch. So we are going to define two states for our condition node, and then using our checkbox to change or switch between those two states. So our high quality one would be our will be our first input. Make sure you select your condition node and change the data type to link, because we used link, as you remember, in our user data setup. So high quality one, our first input, our low quality one is second input, and we're going to change between those states by our checkbox here. And now we're going to get our instance in our Express setup, and let's simply add the select your instance and add the reference object here. Now this reference object will be controlled by this condition node. Okay, there we go. Now we have this done. Now I can select my cloner. If I click on this proxy, it will automatically goes to the cylinder which have less polys, and if I uncheck this checkbox here, as you can see, it automatically goes to our higher quality clones. So let's just check on this proxy for now. This is possibly gonna really save you a lot of time and make your viewport much more snappier. But right now, because I'm recording and a few programs going on, I really can't get quite a snappy viewport as I want. So what I'm going to be using is this option here, level of detail. Basically, level of detail you can control the detail of your scene globally by changing from high to medium to low. If I go to the low setup here, you can see you have much more less clones in your scene, and you got quite a snappy viewport. As you can see, it's just amazing. And we can set up our animation like this in this situation, and then go to our higher quality actually our final renders. So there we go. This is it. Let me just go to my cloner, and the proxy is checked, which is great. And let's just get our studio back on and see where we are right now. Now, for starting point, I want to make sure that my clones are sorta we can't see. We should not be able to see them right now, because we want to run the different effector through these clones and get the kind of wavy effect that you see in the motion graphic design. So now we have two options. Either we go to our studio and kind of move it up like this, or what we can do is to go to our cloners and move them down. I think because we really don't need to move our studio a lot, and we're not gonna need to change its parameters and stuff like that. I think the best option would be to select our studio and move it up, because the clones would be better if they stay where they have been created originally. So we're gonna be doing this, and as you can see, our cylinder is 100 centimeter. It has 100 centimeter height, and I think if we go to 50 centimeter, which is the half of that value, now we should be able to have a nice kinda. If we render them, we should not be able to see them. Let me just have a quick render. You can see there is a bit of them, so let's just go to our studio coordinates. Let's go to something like 50.2 would be quite enough. Hopefully, let's render. There we go. Now we have a clean setup, and we are ready to run our effectors through our cloners and get the nice result that we have been seeing. Just let's, for the final job, let's just name these cloners main, sorry, clones, and this is let's just put all of these guys, select all of them, hit Alt and G, so now they are grouped, and let's name them our main cloner setup. So let's go to the next lesson.